Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel, the only airgun channel that is non-monetized through YouTube, saving you from sitting through commercials but costing me $200 to $400 a month by not doing that. So when you see my links in the description and comments below, if you guys are using those, I really appreciate you. You don't even have to buy the Amazon item in the link. If you simply click in from there, we're good. That still helps. But anyway, with that said, today we're going to be reviewing yet another Shoebox compressor straight out of the box. So this is going to be the ToAuto A1X. And they sent this over. I was talking with them and said, you know, I've checked out your A2. There's a review on the channel for that. There's multiple videos about the A3, which was the GOAT. And I haven't really checked out this one. And they said, sure, we'll send you one over. You can check it out. So cool. We've got that here today. It is sealed and unopened. So we're going to open it together, do the unboxing live right here. And then we're going to fill up my FX Panthera from 150 bar, which usually with other compressors that I've tested, it usually takes about 3 to 5 minutes to get that tank from 150 to 250 bar. So without further ado, let's just open this thing up together and see what we got inside. And it does come in a pretty heavy duty box here, which is nice. Okay, good. So we've got your power cable in there and the 12 volt cables. You can run these things off of your car battery or your truck battery. So that's good. We've got a fill whip and the typical little filters for inside the fill whip. So a couple of O-rings, looks like 4 or 5 burst discs. You've got a dead end plug and a small adapter. I don't know why they always include this adapter to like fill basketballs. Are you going to fill your basketball to 4,500 PSI? I certainly hope not. But anyway, cool that it has all that, so you have a little bit of extra functionality. Got some seals, some white Delrin seals, I assume, for the gauges. But nice of them to include that. All right, looks like we got a manual here. Oh, very nice. Color manual. That is well described. And that's one thing I've noticed with ToAuto. They do a pretty good job of their manuals. And guys, always read your manual when you get into these compressors. You don't want to be breaking stuff and then returning it like a fool. The next customer down the line is getting upcharged because the cost is going up from people, you know, breaking compressors and returning them, and the company suffers. So don't do that to ToAuto, guys. Come on. But anyway, manual. All right, and here's the compressor. And wow, it looks really nice. Come on, baby. Yeah. All right. So there's the unit. This one does have an internal power supply, so it's already in there. Some of the smaller Shoebox ones that I've done before have an external power supply, so you've got like an auxiliary power that connects into it. This does not have that. Has a nice temp gauge we can see there, has a pressure gauge. This one does not have an auto stop, so you're going to have to watch it. Honestly, you should be watching every compressor fill your gun, even if it does have an auto stop, because that is something that can fail, and you don't want to explode, right? So, cool, looks good. Let's go ahead and start using this. And before I even start using this, I always tell you guys, never ever start a compressor up against pressure. So if we are running this thing and then, you know, we see that the temperature is pretty high and we want to let it cool, you must vent the air. Never leave air in there pressurized and then start up the compressor again. You're starting it up against too much force doing that, and you will break your compressor. So with that said, let's go ahead and start getting into using this. I'm going to run a power cord out here and we'll fill up that Panthera and see how she does. Let's go into first person view mode here to show you guys what I'm doing. So we've got the Panthera here. It is at 150 bar in the tank, as we can see in that bottle pressure regulator right there. And we're going to go ahead and use this unit to fill her up. So let's set it up. We've got the power cord right here. That just plugs in right there at the back. Okay, press that in, plug that in over here. Kind of hard to do with one hand, guys, so bear with me. Yeah, there we go. All right, and as I plugged it on, the fan went on and the temp gauge lit up. Now in the manual it says do not exceed 80 degrees Celsius on that temp gauge. So if we see that getting up towards 80, time to shut her down, boys. Now, another thing you're going to want to have with any compressor is some sort of inline filter. It does come with that tiny one, but it's really not enough. These ones here are pretty decent. They've just got foam internals, and they're about 15 bucks on Amazon. I'll drop a link for you guys for these too. I have like infinity of these. I use them on all my compressors, and they're perfect for just quick fills. on small tanks where you're not too worried about tons of condensation developing. But what I usually do is we'll take off the cover there, put this guy on. All right, and we'll tighten the bleed valve. And what we'll do is take off my fill nipple cap. It's already off, good. We'll plug this guy on here. All right, I'm doing pretty good for one hand, right? And we'll plug this guy, yeah, onto there, perfect. And what I'll do is pull out another phone here, and we'll get a timer going, just a stopwatch. And it looks like I should be pretty well set. I've got the bleed screw on there, and it looks like the power is right over here, so let's let it rip. Oh, nice and quiet. All right, and I just started that timer, so we're gonna see how long it takes to fill up my competition gun. And that gun is just shooting fantastically, you guys. I just came back from the Northeast Air Gun Classic with a second place finish in Pro Precision Shooting Challenge with that gun. So that thing has been pretty good, man. FX Panthera shooting the 34 grain Javelin slugs. And that's been my moneymaker, baby. $2,500 check for that win. Well, second place win. Only a couple of impacts separated me from the top. Anyway, enough about me. Come on, let's look at this thing. All right, steadily building pressure. Already about 150 bar. We're matching with the tank pressure. And so far we're only a minute in. And we've got about 20 bar or so, just only a minute in. That's pretty good. So rather than making you guys sit through this thing pumping, I'm just going to come back right when it's about full, and we'll see how much time it took. Okay, 4 minutes has just elapsed, and it is almost at 250, so we're going to give her a minute, well, not even a minute, a few more seconds here. And okay, that's at 250, 4 minutes and 18 seconds. We're going to come over here, shut her down, the fan will keep running, and that is pretty good to get it in a little over 4 minutes. That's usually about the part time. Usually the fastest I've seen is about 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and the slowest is about 6 minutes, but usually they're about 4 to 5 minutes. So this thing is right on par with even some more expensive compressors. And now that the gun's filled and we've got it off, we want to vent it. And that will safely get rid of all the gas in the lines, and now we can go ahead and disconnect it, and our gun is full. So hopefully that tutorial and showing you how to use it, and also the time that it takes to fill, is helpful to you guys. That is definitely on par with even the more expensive shoebox compressors that I have. One other thing I always do is, after you fill anything, there's going to be some condensation in the unit. So twist your bleed valve and then turn it on again. See that? Did you see that right there? And get that out of there. I like to put my finger over it, develop a little pressure, and then just let it blast out. And that's how you're going to purge your little bit of condensation that develops in the internal system, like in the piston and lines internally in there. And if you don't do that, what can happen is hydrolock. So your piston can get locked up because you cannot compress water, whereas you can compress air. So I've had that happen to me before, and stupidly taken apart a whole compressor to see what was wrong with it, when all I really should have done or needed to do was vent that water out like you just saw me do. So keep that in mind, guys. Just always be smart with your compressors. Never fill against pressure, and always bleed out that water like I just showed you every time you use it, and it'll last you a long time. Well, guys, that I think is going to about wrap things up. I do a lot of small compressor reviews on the channel. I've become somewhat of an expert in their operation and maintenance. I've taken a lot of them apart and stuff, so I know a lot about them. And I know ToAuto makes a really good compressor. So I will continue reviewing different compressors that various companies send to me, because I just think they're neat.
I just think they're neat.
So for this one, pretty nice. You can run it off your car. You can run it off 110 volt, and also it has a temp gauge on there. Now, filling that gun for only about 4 minutes, it only got up to about 30 degrees C. Now remember, the limit is 80, so I could have ran this for a lot longer. and it did pretty well. That was a pretty good par time to fill that gun from 150 to 250 bar in its 300cc tank. So not too bad. So additionally to that, things I didn't mention, it does have a burst disc. That's what this is on the front. If you ever hear a loud bang while you're using this, usually it'll happen if you're only filling to like 4,500 on maybe a bigger tank. Sometimes you'll pop a burst disc and you just simply take a wrench, remove that, put one of the replacement burst discs in, tighten it back down, you're good to go. And this thing has a nice form factor. It's not too heavy or anything, and it has the internal power. So you can probably find a bag to carry this around in. I'll look around for you guys and try to do the work for you. And if I find a good bag that I think is going to fit this, I'll link it in the comments. If not, sorry, I tried. But overall, yeah, ToAuto A1X. Pretty solid little piece of kit for not a lot of money. So if you're looking for a shoebox, ToAuto's got some great models. I'll link all of their stuff below. And again, if you guys are using my links in the description and comments, you're helping the channel because I do not monetize via YouTube. So the links are really all I have. So thank you guys in advance for that. Hope this was helpful. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.